I wanted to write the perfect cowboy poem about how brave and bulletproof and courageous cowboys are. And I think I've done it. I really think this is going to be in the pantheon of poetry, right up there with Black and Barker and the rest of them. And I'm being humble when I say that. It might even be better than that, okay? This poem's called The Butterfly, and this is a true story. And I promise you, I know when cowboys say that, it never is. This is a true story. I'd spent the day a-horseback in our annual fall gather, and we'd covered a bunch of country, and my old horse was in a lather. So when we got down to the cow camp, I unsaddled him and let him have a pretty good roll. When he got cooled off, I led him over to the trough, and he drank till he was full. And since supper wasn't ready yet, I thought I'd just take a little ride on my trusty green four-wheeler and see if I could spot a wayward hide, because we were still out a few cows and calves, and I thought since I had a little daylight, I'd just putt on up the canyon above camp and see if I just might spot one of those lost wandering sisters or even a big mule deer buck. So I grabbed a pair of old binoculars that I had behind the seat of my truck. I putted on up the canyon at a slow and leisurely pace, kind of ducking under oaks and cedar tree limbs like to knock me in the face. And right up there in Joe's Canyon, in the narrows where the ledges, they kind of squeeze, well, I spotted a couple of mule deer slipping up through some mahoganies. I was hoping they had big antlers, and they worked on up that draw, and so I waited and got my binos ready to see what I could saw. But the second I turned that four-wheeler off, I damn near lost my mind, because a stinking evil rattlesnake was 3 feet from my behind. He was coiled and mean and on the fight, and I felt my blood run cold. I've hated snakes since I was a pup, and I plan to hate them when I get old. My right hand dropped to where my .22 is usually hanging off of my hip, but I'd taken it off back down there to camp because I'm kind of a total dipshit. Sorry for cussing. Technically, that's not even a cuss word. It's what you call cows. This old snake was thicker than my wrist, and his colors were black and mostly yellow. And his mood was something I would not describe as happy, sweet, or mellow. I couldn't find me a club or a stick so I could bash his fanged head in, and I couldn't find me a rock big enough I could hurl at force and crush him. Well, by this time, he'd went down through a little wash, and he was slithering up into some oaks. And I was thinking how I could just kill him dead, but I was dang near out of hope. So we got this snake I'm scared of bad, and he's yellow and a little bit black. And I'm standing there without my .22 like a stupid city boy hack, staring at my nemesis, just willing him to be dead, when this yellow and black butterfly come flapping right past my head. He gently extended his landing gear, and he banked his wings to land, and then that sucker touched down on my left shirt pocket like a single grain of sand. Now my eyes saw this pretty butterfly with black and yellow hues, and my brain processed this little event like a sane person would do, but my body didn't listen. It went straight into alarm, and I felt this huge wave of terror shoot out of my heart and go down that arm. Black and yellow, like the snake, exactly like the snake. Well, I had a mild seizure, and my legs began to shake, and what happened next, I'm not quite sure, but I pretty much kicked my own ass. I beat the hell out of that little old butterfly and left pieces of his carcass there in the grass. Apparently, I screamed a little too, because when I got back down to cow camp, my friends and family laughed so hard their faces still were damp. I almost broke this collarbone. My whole left side was sore, and a butterfly got pulverized, and well, now he ain't no more. You know, the folks up there in heaven, they ain't never gonna let me in, because that cute, sweet butterfly got up there first and told what I had done to him. I truly didn't mean it. He was innocent for sure. But I got a bad phobia of rattlesnakes, and for me, there just ain't no cure. I suppose I'll end up down in hell. It'll be clear full of butterflies, and they're gonna have tails and fangs like rattlesnakes and a little vengeance in their eyes. Thank you.